So, statistically speaking, women initiate divorce more than men. There was a study in 2015 that said women initiated about 70% of all divorces. Um, as a woman who has initiated a divorce, I am not surprised at that statistic. And the thing is, though, is even though there is a high statistic, what can happen though is it can take a really long time before a woman gets to that place, right? This could be many, many years of going back and forth, of trying for counseling, trying to make it work, date nights, forgiving, trying counseling, all sorts of things in order to be able to save the marriage. Because at the end of the day, as much as we are more likely to initiate it, we're also more likely to really want to work on it, because at the end of the day, what we want is to have loving, happy, and harmonious relationships. But what happens is if it's no longer a match, or there are some significant issues with your partner that are just not getting fixed or not getting better, no matter how many things that you've tried, and you're growing, um, there ends up being a really big, large gap, an energetic mismatch that takes place in a relationship like that. And then you start, if you're a vibrant, passionate woman like I am, you start to kind of look around and you go, okay, I'm only like in my early 40s, which is how old I am. And I'm not interested in having another 20, 30, 40, 50 years of a relationship like this. I'm interested in having something that is going to really, really light my soul on fire. And if this person can't meet me here, then maybe it's time to, reconsider and look at what our options are. But of course, it doesn't happen that easily, right? So in this video, I'm going to share with you my personal story about the conscious uncoupling that I just went through, in order to give you a little bit of hope and some insight on what I did, how long it took me, and where I am now, where we are now as a family unit. If you are in the process right now of contemplating, maybe leaving your marriage, or you're not 100% sure. And I just want to say that I am not an advocate for divorce. I'm not going to say like 100% you've got to do it. You've got to do what's right for you and for your entire family. However, not enough people are talking about this and giving women the permission to be able to say, hey, it's okay for us to have this conversation, to look at this and see whether or not this is something that will be beneficial for the entire family, to actually split, or if it's worth it to continue working on it and seeing where it can go. So stay tuned in this video, and I'm going to go through all of that with you. My name is Krisha Young, and I am a coach and a speaker and a human design reader. And I work predominantly with women who are in their 40s. They're in this like midlife up level. It's like where everything in life is just starting to feel like a too tight sweater. And you're looking around going, is this it? I help you reclaim what is yours in life and step into being your own inner goddess, and creating a life full of passion and inner power, calm, peace, and harmony. So I recently ended my relationship with my ex-husband, and we had 2 children together. And it was over quite a few years ago, but in typical, style. Part of this is me being a woman, but also part of this was my own upbringing and my own conditioning and my own programming, was that I held on to it way longer than I should have. We knew it was over a long time ago, like several years ago. And yet neither one of us could really let go, because we had small kids, and we did love each other. And, we did really want to try to make it work, but there was no intimacy. We weren't passionate about each other at all. There was actually very little of that from the beginning. So, you know, when things got tough, it became non-existent. And, you know, as I mentioned, as a vibrant, healthy, sexual, you know, full of life, passionate woman, looking at my future and being in something like that was just like, ooh, with no end in sight ever. It wasn't just a dry spell. It was just who we were. And we were just no longer energetically matched at that level. And, but I kept trying to make it work. And we went for counseling and hired coaches and, you know, did a lot of stuff. And then it just got to the point where it was like, okay, I don't want you in bed with me anymore. So we started to sleep in separate rooms and we became roommates, and we were roommates for a good, you know, 3 years, before I finally did the full initiation and said, okay, I can't do this anymore. This isn't healthy. I was incredibly, incredibly unhappy. And it was creating an environment in our home that was toxic and not healthy. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we showing our children here? Right? Like, this is not what a healthy relationship looks like. And we're hanging on to something for them, but we're teaching them that this is what a relationship looks like. Two people who are ships in the night, never talk to each other. And when they do, they're just snipping at each other, you know? No intimacy, no contact, no touch, no hugging, no kissing, no flirting, none of that between us. But I was like very passionate and kissing and tickling with my children. Like, how confusing must that have been for them? And eventually I just got to the point where I was like, well, I want those things for me as a woman. And as I continued to evolve, into my own personal inner goddess and step more and more and more into my truth, I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I was screaming. My soul was screaming and dying at the same time, because relationship is like, it's so much for me. It is, a very positive force in my life to be in a healthy, vibrant, loving relationship. And the fact that this was no longer it was really, really, really destroying my soul. And I knew that I needed to break free, and I knew that I needed to make a move, and it was terrifying. And I can't tell you how many glasses of wine I had with my girlfriends where we would just sit there and I'm like, wah, 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 complain, 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 talk, talk, talk. I thought I was moving the needle forward because I was talking about it, and they were listening and they were giving me some advice, and I would take something back. But the truth was, I didn't want to work on the marriage anymore. I was done. I was done. But I was too afraid to admit it. I was too afraid to do anything about it, because there's this black sea of consequences when you are contemplating something like this. And so it took me a long time. And then for me personally, it just got to the point where I could barely open my eyes anymore. I was feeling incredibly, miserable. And I wasn't mothering my children in the way that they deserved to be mothered. And, you know, and I knew I had to take a step away. And it was like my higher self was, you know, Krisha, come on. What are you doing with this life? You have one life and you're living it like this. You know that this isn't how you want to be. And he's a great guy. And on paper, everything is fine. But behind the scenes, it's not. And you know that. So what are you going to do about it? And so I finally plucked up the courage to be able to say, okay, the time has come. It's done. And I am going to leave. And we figured out, you know, what the custody arrangement was going to be like. And I left. And when I left, it was like the lights got turned on. And it hasn't been the easiest of easy, But oh my goodness, it's like the lights got turned on, and it enabled me to just feel like I could breathe again after years of holding my breath. I felt like I could finally breathe again. And now we're several months, into our separation, our actual physical separation, and it's amazing. We had some bumps in the beginning as we were just getting used to it all, but all I kept saying to myself was, I'm just going to pour love all over this. I'm going to pour love all over this. And so if we ever got into like a little bit of a scrap or an argument or something like that, after I left, I just was like, nope, that is not what I want for my life. This is how I want this to go. I want this to be full of love. So I would hold myself back in any kind of argument and really just go, okay, what is the pain underneath this? What is really actually trying to be said here? And I wouldn't get into an argument with him. And he learned very quickly that that just wasn't going to be the case. And so we were able to even get to a point where we were communicating with each other and able to talk now, where we were talking, but we weren't hearing before. And now we started to hear each other and not talk all over each other and interrupt each other, and really feel heard and feel seen. And that just made everything in that transition so much smoother, to the point where we have like a really good, well-oiled machine now, and a way better relationship now than we did when we were together. But I couldn't see this when I was in it. All I could see was these black sea of consequences, like, oh my God, I'm going to be a divorced mother of 2 children. Oh my God, my children are going to have like divorced parents. I had divorced parents, and I know how that feels. And it's awful. Um, you know, oh my God, like, what am I going to do for money? What am I going to do for this? Where am I going to live? Where are we going to live? What's going to happen? There was so much. What are the in-laws going to think? What if I get rejected? What are our friends going to think? There was so much that went on that it really held me back for the longest time. And it was all fear. And I promise you, none of that stuff happened. Like, it was the best decision. And it was really made from that place of love, like I said. And it wouldn't have gone as smoothly if I didn't have support in my life. So that's what I'm here to invite you to consider at this time. If you've been on the fence for a really long time about this, and you are sitting here going through all of the scenarios in your head, and there's a part of you that's just like, I kind of know that this is like done, but you've got all those buts, and you're not sure what to do, and you've maybe spoken to a divorce lawyer, or maybe you've been for counseling and you're still not sure, I invite you to have a conversation with me, because I'm a coach and I'm a mentor, and I am qualified to be able to support women. I've worked with women for the past like 7 years, helping them, up level their lives and step into their greatness, and awaken that inner goddess. And also, I have experience in this specific realm. I have 2 small children, and know how to navigate all of this with love, and do it in a way that you don't have to blow up your entire life, right? And also, if you would like to save your relationship, then the work that I would do with you is work on you, your internal landscape, getting you to feel good about yourself again, and giving you permission to step up and do the things that you really want to do, and see if and how your partner can meet you there, so that you guys can work on it together and increase that communication, and increase that intimacy between you as well, right? Over the course of my career so far, I inadvertently have saved many marriages, just by working with the woman at an individual level, whatever she awakens within her is the thing that the husband has been like, I've been missing this woman. And when she awakens, he's like, ooh, who are you? I want you, right? And teaching her how to communicate more, teaching you how to communicate more with yourself and speak your own truth, and set your own personal boundaries, and all of that can be really, really helpful in terms of a relationship, whether you're staying in it or you're leaving it. Okay. So this is my invitation to you to, if you are looking for some support outside of wine with your girlfriends, and you need a different perspective from a professional, but also somebody who's been there, you know, I invite you to schedule an awakening session with me. You can find the link below. If you would like to get to know me a little bit more, then please come to my website, krishayoung.com. You can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, and check out more of my YouTube videos. You can download my Calm in the Chaos free video series, which is designed to help you to find that inner peace and that inner calm and that inner goddess, without having to, you know, go too deep into anything else if you're not quite ready for that yet. So there's many different ways that I can help support you at this time. And, you know, I would love to. So please reach out if you are in a position to be able to do so. And, you know, hang in there, and just be true to you, be true to your heart. But, you know, if you've been sitting on this fence for a long while, like, just, I'm going to leave you with this parting thought. Okay. A year when you're looking ahead might seem like a long way away, right? And like I said, you've got this black sea of consequences that you're looking at going, oh my God, how can I do this? I invite you to look back and look at how many years you've been sitting on this, like, really. And are you okay with that? Are you okay that it's been 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? For me, it was about 4 years. And I mean, it was what it was. And I'm not shaming myself or you for that. But it's like, ooh, wow, you know, that was 4 years where I could have maybe in the meanwhile found somebody else and been a lot happier in that, and him too, right? So I invite you to just think about that. And if you are wanting to have a conversation with me, then please go ahead and schedule it. And I will see you in the next video.